Hi, it's Jay Brannan here again with episode 4 of Jay's Walks and Talks. I'm back at Newhall Hotel today in Sutton Coldfield. I came here for episode 2 showing some of the delights of the gardens around the area, surrounding the hotel. And I'm sort of, again in the garden area but in different spots today. This is a little sort of square area where I'm not exactly sure what it's specifically called, but you can have a nice little sit in here. I've just been sitting on that bench over there reading the paper. And this is a spot where also kids can come and play, have a little bit of football, bit of five-a-side, jumpers for goalposts, run manager and all that. In fact, that reminds me, I was listening to Paul Whitehouse on Desert Island Discs this morning doing some cracking impersonations of Fast Show characters as well. And the Newhall Hotel, I said last time it was opened in the 19th century. Well, my mum corrected me on that. I think it was only opened a few decades ago actually, so it's certainly not as ancient as I suggested, even though the building itself I think goes back hundreds of years. It wasn't a hotel at the time. I think it then got converted into a hotel much later on. But I do just love the green around these areas, and also just look up at the flowers there as well. The blossom, it reminds me a little bit of Augusta National, the home of the US Masters Golf, as a wasp there tries to get onto my jumper. And as you come out of here, you come into a slightly more wooded areas where you can go for a bit of a walk. There is a pathway. I won't be going through it today, but I have been through it before, and there's a little path that takes you sort of back out really into the main exit up to Warmley Road. But just around here as well now you can just see some majestic flowers there. I'm not an expert, so I can't name too many of them. I know the blossom, but it's just so attractive around here. The bluebells there are growing very nicely in the middle area of this grassy verge. And then as you go down here, of course, you're moving towards a little stream just outside the main hotel. And I'm actually going to approach the golf course, the Newhall golf course, which is opened again now that lockdown restrictions have been lifted. I don't really ever see many people playing on this one. One of the great treats actually of the previous lockdowns was being able to walk on the golf courses when no one was playing. Particularly the one near Minworth. Some really good scenery around there, and also just so peaceful. And of course the golf course was kept in pretty good nick still despite people not playing on it, and it was just really nice to walk on. There was a lot of benches around where you could sit, and as a golf fan as well, it was interesting just having a look at the layout of the course and seeing the quality of it. Last year I did that a few times, particularly in lockdown 1. This is the path towards Newhall golf course now, and then this is what I mentioned earlier, that's the wooded path here. This is the wooded path. You can go through there and then you can cut round, and then it leads you out to the exit, as I say, up towards the Warmley Road again. But down here I'm going to walk now, and just coming across again a few more bluebells, and just a really nice array of trees around here as well. I just love the sort of ambience of this place. There's a number of different walkways where you kind of, down there for example as well, just where it's very sort of atmospheric really. It's kind of nicely covered at the top, and it's just got a real peace and tranquility about it. I've been watching a lot of the snooker of late, of course. My favourite annual sporting event, the World Championship at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, is underway again. Started on Saturday, of course. Defending champion Ronnie O'Sullivan, my all-time favourite sports person, got through the first round with a 10-4 win over Mark Joyce. He began his last 16 match today against Scotland's Anthony McGill, someone who often raises his game at the Crucible, even though he often seems to have a quiet season, but he seems to find an extra gear when he's in Sheffield. I feel this is a dangerous draw for O'Sullivan. He led 4-1 this afternoon, played really well for that actually, a couple of centuries. But then McGill showed a lot of character, as he so often does. He made the semi-finals last year, McGill, as a qualifier, and he's levelled the match at 4-all. They resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. In this 3-session best of 25 contest. And the second round draw this year at the Crucible is quite amazing really. 14 of the 16 seeds, if Mark Selby wins tonight, it'll be 14 of the 16 seeds progressing to the last 16. And some of the matchups, in particular the game between John Higgins and Mark Williams, who have got 7 world titles between them, 2 of the all-time greats, will be, I think, the marquee tie of the last 16, and one to really savour. Their final in 2018, which Williams won 18 frames to 16, is arguably the greatest world final ever played. And it's always a treat when you get any two of Higgins, Williams and O'Sullivan, who have been at the top now for over 25 years, clashing. Also, the match between probably Mark Allen and Mark Selby. Selby should complete victory against Kurt Mafflin in the first round tonight, but that's another match that could be worthy of the final as well. And it's just a really intriguing set of matchups. O'Sullivan McGill obviously got off to a great start today. It's delicately poised, as I say, at 4-all. And also tonight, Neil Robertson and Jack Lasowski get underway. Lasowski is, you know, a player that's yet to win a major ranking event, but he's a huge talent and someone that cues the ball very similar to Ronnie, and someone I really enjoy watching. You know, when I watch snooker, I like to see elegant, artistic players, and Lasowski certainly falls into that mould. And it'd be great to see him have a big run this year at the Crucible, because I think the wider public are still not totally aware of Lasowski and just what a natural and beautiful player he is to watch, really. And someone that could eventually maybe take over as O'Sullivan, from O'Sullivan, is certainly my favourite player. Because as I say, I think he does, you know, sort of play with the same sort of elegance and panache as the Rocket. I'm not going to talk too much about the European Super League football proposals. I knew it wouldn't happen. I wasn't sure if it would fold as it did in 2 or 3 days. It's utter nonsense. It goes without saying, really, that it would have been very much against what I believe in football, being obviously a, you know, not a closed shop, and, you know, ultimately the game definitely still leaves a lot to be desired at elite club level in terms of, you know, the chasm between the haves and the have-nots. But at the same time, at least in theory, there is still opportunities for something like Leicester City to happen, where they won the title, of course, 5 years ago. And also, you know, for me, the other thing about a European Super League was no jeopardy. How can any league have no relegation? It's the same in Premiership Rugby. The fact they're looking to ring fence it for 2 or 3 seasons, you know, it's just, you know, to me, against the complete ethos of what league competition should be about in sport. So I'm walking down the golf course here. You can see some of the flag positions. I mean, to be fair, like, you know, the green's looking okay, Nick, but, you know, and obviously, you know, but the fairways, you have to say, you know, aren't exactly the most inviting. I mean, this course, actually, I don't know whether it's like a proper golf course, actually. It's just a mini course, I think, actually, looking at it now, because the flag sticks are far too close to each other for this to be a genuine 18-hole course. So this is more, actually, I think, a bit of a sort of, not crazy golf as such, but sort of mini golf, I guess would be the term, really. I'm not sure if there's even 18 holes, actually. I'm just looking around. Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously, you know, there's certainly no 300-yard drives to be played on this course, but you know, it's still quite a nice little diversion for people that are staying at the hotel. I presume you might be able to play on it even if you're not a member. I'm actually thinking of joining the gym here, actually. It's reopened again. I didn't realise they had a gym here, actually, and of course, with it being on my doorstep, I am seriously thinking of making a switch now from the gym at the Mailbox in Birmingham to the one here. It's the same price per month. And obviously this would just be a lot more convenient. And the one in Birmingham's yet to reopen as well. So I feel like, you know, I'm ready to return now. I've been missing it, actually, particularly during the 2nd and 3rd lockdowns, where my depression was starting to bite again. But yeah, that's just another little flavour today. I'm going to close the video down now. Just a little flavour again of the wonders that are in Newhall Hotel and the surroundings. And, you know, it's been such a great find, this, in the 3rd lockdown. And even though the hotel's reopened again, I think now, for customers, you definitely are allowed in for these kind of walks. You are allowed, even if you're not a paying customer, because obviously, you know, if I join the gym, then I'm going to be allowed into the grounds because I've got to get to the gym. So, but it's really a great treat, this, for people in Sutton to come here and, you know, just get away from sort of the hubbub of Sutton town centre or the busy roads. And, you know, I'll probably come here again for another video at some point, because there's a few other parts I want to show you. But that's where I'll leave it today. I'm going to be watching the snooker again this evening at 7 between Robertson and Lasowski. And hope you enjoy that if you're into it. And obviously a busy sporting weekend ahead with more football, the climax of the British jump racing season at Sandown Park, and also, of course, the Women's Six Nations final between England and France. Anyway, all the best. Take care. Goodbye.